So Zach, I was just explaining to you how I have my players that are on base with me going into the Forgotten Realms. Some of them have played in the Forgotten Realms before. One of them, first of all, I pitched them every campaign that I know. So I was like, all right, I know Dragon Heist, Curse of Strahd, the Phandelver Adventure. I can run the Essentials kit as well along with that if I want. I can do Storm King's Thunder, Descent into Avernus. You know, the world is your guys' oyster because these are campaigns I know really well. And they were really heavily leaning at first towards Curse of Strahd, which is the one I know the least.
Yeah, and I will say, Curse of Strahd is, I mean, obviously that would be more work for you, but it is probably one of my top picks for like a new DM to run because it's so contained, you know?
I told them
travel doesn't go for like more than a day, right? Between locations.
Yeah, anyway, I basically told them I was like, guys, I can run this for you. I'll just have to read the whole book. Because it's the one that I haven't run anything from myself, but I've played through it. Then they were like, okay, well, this Storm King's thing sounds really cool. And I was like, it is really cool. I was like, it's basically, I was like, I actually really wanted to run Phandelver for them. That was the one I wanted to do, but they were all heavily, once I pitched Storm Kings, they were all like, oh, that sounds great, let's do that. Because I pitched Phandelver first, then they asked me about Curse of Strahd, and then I pitched Storm Kings, and then last but not least I pitched Avernus and Dragon Heist, and they were all like, okay, all of these sound great. I said, you guys probably, with the group we have, let's not do Descent into Avernus. Because it's got its theme, right? And if you want that theme and that's the theme we're going for, like we did for our campaign, it's perfect. But let's not run through that whole thing again.
Well, yeah, and we still got to wrap up our Avernus campaign. You can't just start it again.
Yeah, exactly. So I think we're gonna be doing good with Storm Kings just because of the first Storm Kings. I know the Sword Coast really well. What was I pitching before that I was telling you about that I said I wanted to bring up? Yeah, other than this base adventure, I'm just super excited to have something new in the Sword Coast going on, just because running Eberron and studying every single day to get the next session ready was like, oh, this is so much more on my plate.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and we were talking a little bit about this before the episode started, but Eberron is absolutely one of my favorite settings.
So good.
Just conceptually, but it's just a beast as a DM. Like at least if you're just using the 5e materials that exist, there's just not enough there to make it easy on you, right? Like all these other settings, Dragonlance, now Planescape, Spelljammer, they've all at least got like a starter adventure to push you through. But as fantastic as the Eberron book is, the adventure inside it's literally just like a one-shot, right?
Yeah.
That's not enough to...
it's like maybe 2 sessions worth of material.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you want to have a compelling Eberron campaign,
run your whole...
you're writing a whole bunch, or you're buying some third-party stuff that you don't really know the quality of.
Exactly, yeah. So it's great, or you could even like... if you want to do a little bit extra work, you can take a Forgotten Realms campaign. Like I know people have run Dragon Heist in Sharn instead of Waterdeep.
That could work great.
But still, it's more work than I want to put in. But speaking of, I'm sad that Eberron doesn't have a pre-written adventure. But I am super excited about some of the news we've been getting about these new books that are coming out at the end of this year. Namely, already Phandelver and Below, the Shattered Obelisk, has just dropped.
Mine's at the mailroom. I just haven't picked it up.
Yeah. Well, awesome. I think, Seth, you and I both have just an immense fondness for Lost Minds of Phandelver. It gives me warm, fuzzy feelings just thinking about it. With that first campaign we ran, all its warts and hiccups and all, but I'm super excited to play in that one. So I probably won't be reading it myself yet, but I am super excited about Planescape which is also coming out in I think just over a month at this point.
I've pre-ordered it because I can't help myself.
Yeah, so it's another Spelljammer 3 books in one box set situation.
But again, they're all 70-something pages, so it's the size of any other book. It's just 3 books.
So they might as well have just rolled it all into one. Though I mean, I guess I like having the adventure separate, so that makes sense.
I think the box looks cool.
You can put the monsters in the setting book for sure.
Yeah,
but the box is awesome.
No, the box is cool. I think the box is really cool in concept, and when you buy it, it looks and feels like, hey, this is something bigger than your typical just D&D book. Like with Dragonlance and with the Eberron book, they come in their own self-contained, and Strixhaven and things like that. They're all little self-contained setting books, and you can tell that just by looking at them. Like, oh, this is like a one little thing that they put out there for people who want to use this setting, but they're not like content packed. And even Spelljammer is not content packed. So I just hope with the way, because Spelljammer, it just spends way too many pages on the spelljamming vessels themselves. Whereas I would prefer more world building. I hope with Planescape we get some really solid world building for the city of what's it called? What's it called? Sigil. And then also just how this like plane between this world between worlds works, right?
For sure, yeah. And so I'll say my expectations for a D&D product have never been more misguided.
Right.
But I'm super stoked for this book. I think it's going to be
cool.
great. Well, just because I think where they went wrong with Spelljammer is that setting book is only like 70 pages or what have you, and most of it was just ship stat blocks. Like there were very little actual lore bits and like pieces of the world that you have.
Dude, the Starfinder Player's Handbook has more world building than anything in the Spelljammer book. Like the way I would base planets for my Spelljammer campaign I want to run would be kind of off of how the Starfinder freaking Player's Handbook lists them.
Exactly, because they don't give you enough. But I think with Planescape, the benefit here is that they've got just one city to really focus on,
right.
And then also the Outlands, which is the other space between planes that that Sigil is within. So I don't think you were on that one shot that I ran, but there was a lot of Planescape leaning elements in one of the adventures from Keys from the Golden Vault that I ran through. And so I'm super excited to see that return because, I mean, really that adventure was awesome in that book. There were a lot of cool adventures in that book just around. But especially I really liked that one because of how Planescapey it is. So if they stick with that sort of whimsical feel, I think that we've got at least a good adventure on our hands. Like, I don't know if the contents of this book are going to be much more than what you'd need just to run the adventure that they have inside, but at least I have a good feeling about this. I think it's going to be good, at least this one adventure. Yeah,
well, my hope for it is very low, in that I hope that I get enough out of it to use it alongside something like Spelljammer, right? But yeah, I hope that I can use it in tandem with a lot of the things I already have planned and just learn a little bit more about this kind of place. Because in the way that like I used Radiant Citadel, right, as like a stepping stone on our Avernus adventure, I like being able to hop between these worlds and settings. So I think that Planescape could also come in handy in that way where like, okay, maybe we won't spend a whole campaign on this, but this is a place that could crop up every now and then.
Right. Well, and the thing that I really like about Sigil is, it's just this element of, it's a transitory space, right? You're not going to Sigil necessarily for an entire adventure because it's the city of doors. It's the place where all the different interplanar beings converge, right?
It's where Scott Pilgrim goes when he teleports, right? When he goes between two places.
Yeah, exactly. But so I mean, it's a stepping stone in the adventure ultimately.
Right.
Like it's got portals that take you to different realms, but it's not necessarily the destination I mean, it could be, but it's not. It's not usually. So, if anything, I do like the prospect of having this little cool area like the Radiant Citadel in our back pocket, so we can pull it out later if we want to. But in any case, I've got decently high hopes for the quality of the book. I've heard, just we just got a lot of news about it. So from what's been stated by Wizards, it looks like there's going to be a lot of inspiration taken from Planescape Torment, which I haven't played all the way through, though I did watch a little bit of a playthrough of like the beginning area of that game. So I've got that sort of like a baseline of that, which honestly I've heard great things about Planescape Torment as sort of like, you know, it was one of the favorite CRPGs like Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 back from that time. So in any case, I'm excited to see some familiar things return from that. And when it comes out, we'll give you our review. But in any case, that's not what we're really here to talk about today.
Yeah, welcome to Table Talk Friday. My name is Seth Pittman. I'm joined by my best bud, Zachary Carvon, and not Drew, because he is not feeling good today. Like I said, we are to you guys in the group chat earlier, we're a rotating podcast now. It seems like just one of us has something like almost every week right now. But that's how adulthood goes. How are you doing today?
You know, I'm doing great. We're recording a little bit later than usual, so I feel like I've got, you know, the last of my energy from the day. Sort of coalescing right here. We're not even playing D&D tonight because this is usually the night that we would. So I'm feeling good. I'm excited, and I'm ready to talk about Lost Minds of Phandelver.
Yes,
which I think is sort of our focus here. Just talking about the original campaign that inspired Phandelver and Below. And sort of our thoughts and feelings and opinions about that.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I'll hop in. First of all, this is my first week in a while. I didn't have a single bad day this week. I crushed it all week until Friday, and now we're on the weekend. I don't have a ton happening. I'm transitioning my other D&D campaign into Forgotten Realms just to make my schedule a little bit easier when it comes to scheduling, and we have a big test coming up this week. But that's all behind it because now I get to talk about like the favorite adventure I've been a part of, Lost Minds of Phandelver. And what I want to say is this new book looks really cool. I haven't gotten to read it yet, so this is not like an official review. It's just my thoughts on the baseline 1 to 5 campaign, kind of where 5e started out. And then what I think of the idea of what happens later, because I don't actually know what happens. But I have heard some other people talk about their thoughts on it, so I can kind of add a little bit of that.
Well, cool. So yeah, if you're newer to the show and you haven't heard us talk about our Lost Minds of Phandelver experience before, that's sort of where Seth and I first started playing D&D. We started in a group. I actually started a little bit before Seth, but we lost some players and subbed him in right around the Red Brand base. So you really only missed out on the opening dungeon, and I believe you've run people through that.
I have run people through that dungeon, so I've seen it 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, so in any case, we're super familiar. Got a lot of warm, fuzzy feelings about that campaign that we played through. Quinn, the Ranger, was one of it. I mean, honestly, he's sort of like a mythical creature in the back of my mind. As one of my favorite D&D characters that I've played.
Yeah.
And, of course, Schmidt really just stole the show for a lot of that.
I love Schmidt.
The monk, the dwarven monk, excuse me, which you used to play through your Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah, I just beat Baldur's Gate 3, and in my headcanon, Schmidt did the Lost Minds of Phandelver adventure, went on, ended up, something probably happened, he went his way, and he did all of Baldur's Gate 3 after that.
Yeah, and, you know, I feel like that makes perfect sense.
And in my headcanon, all of it actually happened, and it was awesome. So I loved playing as my little dwarven monk. Man, I can't even talk about what happened to him at the end because that would be a huge spoiler, but a lot of stuff happened with him.
Yeah. And you know, not to derail us already, but I will let you know, I did just... I finished Baldur's Gate 3 as well, and I've already rolled up a new character.
Yeah, I rolled
partway through Act 1 again.
I rolled one up, but the Cyberpunk DLC comes out soon, and they just updated the game with like the 2.0 update, which overhauls like a lot of the baseline problems. So I started playing that a little bit, and then Sea of Stars has taken my whole heart. I started it this morning, and it's all I can think about right now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so it's the person who made it, I believe, was like fully in love with Chrono Trigger. And they're the same group that made The Messenger a long time, or I think like, it was a while back when that game came out. The game it's like the perfect kind of RPG. It's like a classic RPG that's been souped up with a lot of modern tech and mechanics. Like timing-based mechanics to make your attacks a little bit stronger, sort of like in the Mario and Luigi type of games.
Right.
Yeah, so you can time your attacks to get more damage off. And there's just a lot of like quality of life type things and really good story writing, I'll say on top of that. I'm only a couple hours in, but once we finish this podcast, I'm going to play it more.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan. I've been following Sea of Stars for a while now. I've seen a lot of just pixel art from that game, and man, does that scratch an itch in the back of my mind. Chrono Trigger was like my favorite game when I played it in high school, and geez, yeah, no, that's probably like the top 5 video games that I've played. Definitely. I mean, it's probably only recently been dethroned by Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
In my favorite RPGs for sure.
Yeah, Sea of Stars is on both Game Pass and PlayStation Plus, so I have it downloaded on my PlayStation right now, and so I've just been playing it on there, and I didn't pay anything for it.
Nice. I actually picked it up on Steam the other day because I'm a heathen. Who
Hey, that's okay. They deserve the money.
We'll keep our commentary about Steam.
No, I was saying for the developers of Baldur's Gate. Not Baldur's Gate. God, Sea of Stars.
Sea of Stars.
Yeah,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they're a very good indie developer who's gotten a lot of praise for this game. They were like, yeah, we were the numbers we just hit. We were expecting to hit that by next year. So this is great. And it's only been a couple weeks.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah. Okay, but to get into our topic, we are talking about Lost Mines of Phandelver. This is I believe it's the first adventure. It came with the D&D starter set. You get your pre-made characters, but you're basically you're helping out a dwarf by the name of Gundren was his name, right? It's been years.
Yep, Gundren Rockseeker.
Gundren Rockseeker, who is asking or who needs you to transport goods from, I think it was Neverwinter to Phandalin. And that's the whole premise is you're transporting goods from Neverwinter to Phandalin. And there's so much stuff that ensues on the way there. I don't want to get like super spoilery into it because I recommend that if you're listening to this and you just want to play D&D, or you're thinking about DMing something or something like that, this is such a good high fantasy starter adventure because it gives you the flavors of every single thing. It's got goblins, it's got dragons, it's got orcs, it's got magic, it's got really good dungeons. There's so much good substance in this, and the Shattered Obelisk is the recent adventure, which takes the adventure that normally ends at level 5 all the way to level 12. And one thing I want to say about this that I've been looking forward to this, but I did learn that there is a heavy like Mind Flayer psionic type influence to this campaign. I don't know anything about like the whole story, but I was like, damn it, I just played Baldur's Gate. I can't play in this campaign or run it because I know too much about Mind Flayers right now. Like I need to not think about Mind Flayers because apparently I, again, don't know anything, haven't read it yet. But they are heavily involved.
Oh, for sure. I have heard that there are some new versions of Mind Flayers,
which would be great.
That are featured in the book.
Great to look at.
Yeah, but I definitely think that this was like a timed release thing. Like they knew Baldur's Gate 3 focused heavily around Mind Flayers, obviously, so it made sense to like use them and release this book around the same time. I feel like that's the marketing strategy, at least. I could be wrong.
I mean, it is such a good starter adventure that maybe just thinking that this is the last hurrah for 5e too. Like, where we're getting into one D&D stuff next year probably. So this is where it all started, and it looks like we're winding down with it too.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good point. I mean, this is one of the very last adventures. Of course, there's Planescape, and then next year we're going to be getting
another dragon book, right?
another dragon
I
book?
think someone mentioned
I'm
another dragon book at some point. Maybe I'm dumb.
You're valid. I'm not I'm not sure. I haven't heard of that, but I know we're getting the Book of Many Things, and then if not next year, then the year after. No, I'm pretty sure it is next year will be Vecna, that adventure, whatever that's going to be. That might be the first one for the new 2024 Player's Handbook version of things, though. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Have you thought about the experience it's going to be for us to like crack open the new Player's Handbook and go through it?
It's
going to be wild.
I'm tentatively excited about it. I mean, we've shared our thoughts about 1D&D and the new changes that they're proposing at length in our other episodes. So go back and listen to those if you.
It's not like
already.
We're not going to try it though.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And honestly, I'm very excited by the prospect of just like a fresh take on the game that we've been playing for so long, because if there's one thing that Baldur's Gate 3 has really done for my love of D&D, it's given me back that sort of childlike wonderment of, well, can I do that?
Oh, yeah.
I feel like we've been playing 5e long enough where we sort of know what we allow at our table and what are the things that can happen, right?
Right.
So it's rare that we get those, huge D&D moments where it's like, oh, I can't believe that happened. That's crazy.
Right.
Like, yeah, of course that could happen. It's D&D. Anything can happen. So, so in any case, I mean, of course we have, big cinematic moments that just sort of flow out organically. But it's nice to have some of that wonderment put back into character creation and that sort of thing. So, in any case, I'm interested. I'm very interested to see how that'll shake out, and I hope that they see a lot of the excitement about Baldur's Gate 3, and if anything, I kind of hope that the new version of D&D in 2024 will take the best elements of that at least and incorporate it, which seems to be at least a consideration at Wizards right now.
I hope.
We'll see.
I just hope that because of the success of this, we don't see any more. I just want the quality of some of the middle 5e life cycle books to come back. Reading through, hearing other people talk about Shattered Obelisk, it seems like they do a really good job of one, because Phandalin feels very alive to us, right? When we got there as our characters, Lanky Eric took us around the whole city. We visited like every single place and got to know those NPCs really well while we were there. And I think that's what makes Phandalin special, is because it's this tiny little village, but it feels like it's always moving, it's always so alive, and everybody in it matters. And that's what they did really special with that first adventure. Now going into Shattered Obelisk, I hear that there's a lot of really good callbacks to those old characters, even once you go further into the adventure, that makes like returning to Phandalin, helping the people of Phandalin and caring about them, like really important throughout the game. And I hope that we see good focus on adventure like that, because something I learned through playing through Baldur's Gate, while we have done a good job of spanning the entire Sword Coast, right? We did all of Storm King's, which is a lot of travel. You are going from the top northwest peak, the spine of the world, all the way down to like Waterdeep and beyond. So you're spanning like the entire Sword Coast, like helping this whole place like stay alive. And then in Descent to Avernus, you're helping one specific section of the world solve this problem, even though it is a big campaign, like in setting wise, you're going into Avernus, which is a very large space, but coming back up, you did only help like one small section. I hope that we can get some more really tightly focused campaigns like that, because I'm enjoying from Baldur's Gate, like you barely span one little section of the Sword Coast, right? You go from this coastline where the Nautiloid comes down all the way to the city of Baldur's Gate, but realistically, that only spans like, you can see almost all of it in that one screenshot where it shows like the forest and everything going into the gate past that. It's only a couple days of travel, right? But it spans this huge epic. So I really want to see some quality. I don't care about quantity. I just want some really solid quality.
Well, yeah, and that was one of the magical things about Lost Mines of Phandelver too. Is it did have that focus because it's just this small area of the Sword Coast, and there's references to the larger world. But I think one of our tendencies as a group is, well, all right, we've explored this area. We want to see what else is out there, right? So we jumped into Storm King's Thunder, super excited to finally be seeing like the expanse of this country, right? And ultimately, we still have seen so little of the totality of Faerun because it's just so massive.
Yeah.
So ultimately, that's not an achievable goal in the course of one campaign. Like the adventuring across the world is only exciting for so long. But ultimately, like you want, if you're gonna have like a huge travel, you want it to be like a small part of the overall adventure, right? The exciting thing is when you can get into the little details and flesh out specific characters and interactions and things and that's sort of where the magic in D&D happens,
right? Like the exciting parts of when we did Storm Kings, right? The exciting parts of an adventure like that were whenever an NPC that you hadn't seen in 10 sessions came back, or you had to go back to Everland to talk to one person.
Absolutely.
Those were or whenever you finally check the mailbox and you have to go back to Nightstone. It's like returning to those places you're familiar with were the big moments for us. And of course, I mean, seeing new cities is great, and going all over the countries, all over the Sword Coast is awesome. Because you got to experience places like that and have me describe them to you. But realistically, a lot of the places that you guys went through were just me going, "This is what this place looks like. Would you like to stock up on supplies, adventurers?"
right, exactly. But you don't get those moments where Eknon returns home to his family and people are in peril, or Morwen goes home to his little village and it's being raided by hill giants. Like those are the exciting moments. I mean, really, if we pare down all of the like the key emotional stuff that happens in Storm Kings, or that happened in our campaign of Storm Kings, it really was, it wasn't super important for us to, travel to all these different locations. We really could have gotten the same thing in that small area around Waterdeep if we, revised the entire situation.
Right.
But just traveling across the countryside for the sake of it isn't necessarily super sustainable in a long-term D&D campaign, which I think is why Curse of Strahd is also so beloved, is because it doesn't overstay its welcome, right? You've got Barovia, and you've got the entire world map, basically, of this area. There are literal barriers around the outsides of this world, so like you've got this focused little sandbox to play in, but ultimately it's just that area. Like I think it's refreshing to have a sort of defined edge of the play space, so that you can have your players sort of use the inside of that and go deeper. And then it sort of makes sense to define like the area that you guys are going to be playing in for the course of your campaign, and then have like the big exciting part be going into the unknown, or like into that big dungeon. So I think again, I haven't played the new version of Phandelver yet, but I know there's this element of you go below.
Yeah.
So I assume like this big dungeon in the Underdark below Phandalin. That makes sense. You've got Waterdeep Dragon Heist. You've explored all of Waterdeep, and then you go into the Dungeon of the Mad Mage. That's like the escalation, right? But you're not traveling all across the world. You've got, you explore the area, the defined play space, and then you go into the big dungeon and take care of it. I mean, even Descent into Avernus is structured in that same kind of way, right? You explore all of Baldur's Gate and Elturel and the surrounding area, and then you go into Avernus, and that's your big dungeon. Or Curse of Strahd, you go through all of Barovia, you go into Castle Ravenloft. You get it. It's I feel like that's exciting, because then you also get to build up that big dungeon, right? And make it exciting for the players to go into that. And then when you're done, it feels like you completed the thing that you set out to do. rather than feeling like, oh, but there's still so much world for us to explore, you know?
Right. And I think something that's important in a lot of these campaigns, these iconic ones, is how well they, for any campaign that's iconic, I feel, they work up their villain really well. Like Curse of Strahd, Lost Mines works up its villain pretty well too, I think, where like you defeat one individual and you find remains and letters and stuff from another individual, and you have to figure out where this person's from. Curse of Strahd is constantly hinting about this vampire to you. And something that I discovered in Storm Kings was like the villain is not well hinted at, so I had to write in portions where the villain comes from. And I think that's what makes up a lot of these good campaigns is you need good reasons to do things. Right. That's another reason why I love the story of Baldur's Gate so much, because you are told from the first time that the artifact goes off, you're having like visions of these people and you need to handle them. And so you're getting hints at it throughout the entire game, and that's something that I've always been a huge. I mean, I guess from the opening where you're on the Nautiloid, you're dealing with you know what you're dealing with. So I hope that for campaigns going in the future, do you think this just popped into my head? Do you think that campaigns are at their best from levels 1 to 12?
You know, I think that's sort of the sweet spot for D&D, and I'll tell you why. Once you get past that 12th level barrier, right? I mean, you already start getting the power creep as you get higher in level. I mean, you can even see in Baldur's Gate 3, without any mods that let you go above level 12, your characters get so powerful in that later half of the game because of, you know, you're finding magic items and you're getting more skills and abilities, and you've got multi-class, so you can finally get into some of those beefier class features at 5th or 6th level that you really want, and then you can have a powerful multi-class with, you know, the best of multiple classes at that point. So yeah, I think past that, you really run into my characters are just demigods. I have to throw world-ending powerful creatures at them every time in order to give them a challenge.
Right.
I mean, that's really been the last leg of Descent into Avernus is, yeah, we're fighting archdevils every session, bro.
Well, yeah, and that's
the only way they can keep up.
That's something that I've struggled with a little bit is like constantly I'm like, man, I hate that I'm using some of these big villains in such a small way, right? Where like I could have a whole campaign leading up to an Elder Brain fight, right? But instead I had you guys fight it in a 2-session arc. You know,
exactly.
Like I could have a whole campaign leading up to that base that you guys just went through, and I didn't, because that's just the level that things are at. It takes so much more. Like some of these creatures that would be like full boss fights for you guys are just ads.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like if we encountered Strahd von Zarovich right now,
he would stand
he'd be
no
no
chance
threat at all.
We
would need 6 Strahds to even pose like a reasonable threat to our group. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, the full like legendary hag trio I had you guys against like had to have some crazy plays with spells and stuff in order to even stand a chance. So go ahead. And I was just gonna say that I fully agree that the sweet spot is, I think between 3 and 12 is the sweet spot, because that 1 to 2 slog can be a lot. Like there's a reason why after the little tutorial part in Baldur's Gate why you level up so fast. Like, because I think until you hit level 3 and get your subclass and everything, it's kind of like, all right, all I have to do is stay alive for a few sessions.
Yeah. Well, and it's always nerve-wracking at those low levels too, because you've come up with this character, and usually if I spend the time to like make a character that's gonna progress through levels, like I already have like a little arc in my mind for them, and like I want to see them succeed, and become like the ultimate version that I have in my mind. But that can't happen if they die in the first few sessions.
Yeah, that's why I think starting at level 3 is more fun for me. What's hard then is making sure that between levels 3 and 12 they have a lot of growth.
For sure.
Especially if it's a little faster paced level up wise.
Yeah, and it's not hard to achieve that because every level in D&D, especially like from level 3 to 4, 4 to 5, like those are big jumps where you get massive leaps in power. Like your first feat, anyone can finally take Sharpshooter or Great Weapon Master, especially like Baldur's Gate 3 has really shown a magnifying lens on this particular aspect of the game for me. Like, it's night and day, right? The second you start getting that power creep, it's over for the enemy. So you can definitely feel that character progression. But at the same time, at those low levels, you don't have all the tools that you need to deal with some of the more interesting effects that monsters can put out. So as the DM, you sort of have the power to make these memorable encounters with things that feel like they're out of the player's ability to deal with. Like an adult dragon thrown at your party of level 7 characters, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
Or, a single cockatrice, right? It can petrify you. That's terrifying.
Yeah.
I mean, like, obviously it's an easy enough save to make, but no one wants to lose their whole ass character. Like, we can't cast Greater Restoration. I don't know what we do at that point.
You have to find Basilisk Oil. I dealt with that in my last Eberron session.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So it's fun at those low levels to have sort of like that heightened sense of peril. Once you get to, really, it all comes online at 5th level because clerics get access to Revivify. And at that point, death becomes less important. And then the higher you go, death becomes even easier to mitigate. So
yeah,
I definitely agree. In any case, on this tangent.
Yeah, I love us creating our legendary characters, which I think these characters that we have been running with for a while are going to go down in history as like these are just legendary adventurers who accomplish some crazy stuff. Which is going to be awesome, like to have those in our back pockets. And then in the future, maybe we'll do another 20th level campaign at some point. But for the next like little bit, I'd like to run some 3 to 12, maybe a 1 to 12 or something like that, just to like check out some different storylines, something that won't take us 3 years, right?
Yeah, no, that'd be great.
Yeah, because
I would love to be able to get through the story and put a bookend on it.
Yeah, and that's something I think we're going to do with Spelljammer. I'd like to check out some Planescape stuff at some point, whether I run the adventure or you run the adventure or something like that. And I definitely want to see what Shattered Obelisk is all about. I will be reading through it because that's something I could see myself, if not with our group, running at some point.
For sure, yeah. I mean, so if you're not running it for our group, I might. So we'll see. Because I'm definitely super interested in that.
Yeah, I don't think that I think I've got too many other ideas to add that in. So
yeah, I mean, at the same time, right? I'm already running Out of the Abyss, and I kind of want to jump ship and go to Planescape instead. So we'll try and keep our ducks in a row, and we'll see.
I know. See, you keep making me make these beloved characters, Zach, and then I have to abandon them after 3 sessions.
Here's my DM's promise to you. We will not stop playing Out of the Abyss before Grakthar gets ours.
Okay, that works for me. His redemption arc, and then eventually in my head canon he'll see the stars. Yeah, no, I am very excited for some, and that is the crazy thing. That's what I wanted to bring up. The adventures that are coming out are all, we've only gotten like 1 to 20 adventures, right? We had the Dragon Heist series and then Horde of the Dragon Queen. Everything else ends like right around level 13. And I think that really goes to show that they know that, hey, there is legendary play here between 13 and 20. But once you get to level 12, when you wrap up that arc, like we could have done the cheer for you guys at El Terrell and that be the end of the campaign, right? When you guys hit level 13. Like at the very end, like
and that would have been
when they're like, thank you to Lulu and the Fuzzy Bunch, the whole place cheers, and you guys just explain what it is you'd like to do next, and we do like maybe an epilogue session. That could have been it. But us carrying this on, one, I'm very proud of the way it's gone. I think it has been nothing but good times with us carrying on with these characters. But it's been a lot of work too to make something like that happen.
As the DM, you've been flying solo for pretty much this whole back half of the adventure. You've picked up little pieces from Journeys Through the Radiant Citadel. You've picked up little pieces from ChatGPT, but it's mostly been just all off the dome.
Yeah.
for how you wanted to run this adventure. And really, I'm so glad that we can say that we've done it and gone the full. I guess we didn't start at level 1. We started at 3rd level, but still the 1 to 20 experience where you take that character all the way up to the max. I think that's going to be a great thing that we can cross off our bucket list and then come back to later for other high level.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there's definitely a lot of fun to be had there. Don't get me wrong, but it's difficult to make it happen. So you definitely have to put in the work if you wanna make it work.
Yeah, no, I agree. Well, any closing thoughts on the new settings, the new adventures coming out? Thoughts on where we're at with D&D and it coming up? Because I think we've gotten a lot of decent things lately. Is all I can really say.
Yeah, for sure. I think the future's bright for the hobby. So I know we sort of had a lull in interest, especially because of the OGL stuff and Wizards really shooting themselves in the foot. But we're looking strong coming in toward the end of the year. So I'm optimistic that the stuff we're going to be getting is high quality. And one more thing that I just want to talk about before we end the episode is in Planescape. I hear that sort of the whole conceit of this new adventure is they've got a gimmick, right? So like Baldur's Gate 3, everyone's got a tadpole, everyone's special in that way. They've got this new character gimmick where, because this is like a multiplanar, multiverse thing, apparently your characters have been affected in some way that makes it so that when they die in Sigil, they're replaced by like this other version of themselves. So like the whole idea is that everyone, I don't think you have to do it like right at the start, but everyone has like 3 different characters that they cycle throughout the adventure.
So like a fighting
people
game.
Are going to be dying
when your character hops out and hops back in.
Yeah, I mean, it's something like that. I hear that there are still consequences for death, right? But there may be either scripted moments or unwinnable encounters that exist in this adventure that encourage that. Then you have this other character, either like a multi-planar version or an extra
like
planar version of the same person. Yeah, like an echo of the same person, or maybe like someone who fills the same role but is entirely different. Like that they gave the example, you have your fighter and then you have your fighter with a mustache. Like it could be
so
that,
you're all
or
Moon Knight.
It could be yeah, so it could be your you have your fighter character and then you come back as a lizard folk monk and you're completely different. So in any case, I'm super interested in that aspect, and honestly I hope we get that level of creativity in future D&D adventures that we have, because as fun as very tight, focused, basic D&D campaigns like Lost Mines of Phandelver are, I do think going forward as veteran D&D players, the more creative we can get with just the types of adventures we're going through, I think is really gonna make the game last even longer.
Yeah, that does sound really cool to me. At the same time, I think that only an a group who's been playing for a while could do it. Like, for sure, you're not doing this with.
This doesn't seem like a starter.
I think you need to go through like a long campaign first before you even try this. Like, you need to understand the game pretty well. But like, we could do it. We could absolutely do it.
So it's a book for us.
Yeah. And I think it would be really good for us because we have some really good players who get creative with that kind of stuff. Like, imagine Beryl being replaced by Arifras in the middle of a battle.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it could. I was even thinking. You said Beryl. I was like, oh, what if Beryl and Scimitar Samuel and someone else
and Calden
are in constant rotation. Yeah, Calden, the anti.
The three of them are always in constant rotation. That would be awesome.
Yeah, so shit like that. I mean, I think we've got a great group of players. I feel like it would be a blast to see what everyone comes up with, and then try and develop that.
What if they were all different levels too? Like we all had like level 5, 7, and 10 character rotating.
So I'm not entirely sure how the adventure is going to be laid out, but it seemed that they were hinting that maybe the different echoes aren't all the same level, because you go. This is an adventure that spans from level 3 to level 17.
Huh.
So I think maybe some of your different versions, your echoes, are like high level versions of those characters.
So they're like taking on different things as different people.
Yeah, so you've got like your mid level characters, your 3 to 7 or whatever. Then you've got your high mid level characters like 12 through 13 or whatever, and then you've got your level 17 characters.
And this is all one big advertisement for the Marvels coming to theaters near you soon, right? Because the big twist in that is they're all connected, and when they use their powers, they switch places. So,
okay. I mean, we
and there's 3 of them, just like you hinted at. So,
if it is, I guess I'm a little less excited about it now. But good on you, Wizards of the Coast, for staying relevant.
Well, it's just Hasbro trying to get some money, right? Yeah. Anyways, thank you for listening to this episode of Table Talk Friday, not sponsored by Marvel or Hasbro, but it is sponsored by patreon.com/Table Talk Friday, where good old gamer is keeping us afloat, checking out our Instagram, commenting on our videos. So if you're interested, you can get the exclusive post show that we're going to record after this over at patreon.com/Table Talk Friday, and you can check out any of our extra stuff over at wait, are we on Twitter or Instagram or both? We're on Instagram, right?
We're on all
at
of them.
Table Talk Friday on all your social media platforms. You'll love it, I promise. Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode once again, and I'm going to need the Marvel to take me out.
Hello, it's me, the Marvel. That's right. I'm every Marvel superhero rolled into one, and for some reason that makes my voice sound like this. Don't think about it. I hear you thinking about it. Anyway, thank you so much for listening to Table Talk Friday, a D&D podcast. I've been the Marvel, and I hope that you all have a great night.